you faced Athena again. What's the difference with MPX from something that's big in AEW to something that is like the indie scene with MPX?
So definitely the major difference, which my coach noticed the first time, whenever I look back, I was like, yeah, that's true. He says in Ring of Honor when I faced her, I was looking across the ring as more so like, this is like a mentor, someone I grew up watching. So like, I think he was like, you went in facing her like you were facing a mentor. Like, too much respect type thing. And then like now, like we're not like peers or anything, because she's Athena, she's Athena, and I'm like still trying to get to where she is type stuff, but more so like as competitor to competitor. Because when he said that, I was like, it clicked. I was like, that's very true. Like I was looking at her with too much respect instead of going in like competitive, like I'm about to beat her. So at MPX, like at this point, it's been a year and a half. I mean, not like that I've got a big head or anything, but like I know I can compete with her. You know what I mean?
There is the It Girl, My World. It's been a while. We've been talking so much like after shows, but this is like a good deep dive in what you're doing in the ring. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah.
Let me be here.
All right, awesome. So if you see me on every episode, I will have my notes. If I look down, it's not you, it's my notes looking at, so bear with me. So first of all, congrats on getting engaged to Danny. So that's a task on itself. Like no matter what title, right? But to be engaged to Danny this year, is that right? Is that this year?
Yes, it was this year. And honestly, I don't know if you've seen the wedding or what happened, but me and Danny are kind of smart. So you know what I mean? We knew what was gonna happen. We were in Vegas a week before. Or we secretly behind everybody's back went to go, went to had a little Vegas wedding because we knew it was gonna get messed up and Inspire. That was just kind of for our friends and stuff, but we went out.
But that's the real part. It's like, were there any Elvis impersonators? I'm kind of curious.
No, sadly. I was just so last minute that I don't think he wasn't ready. He wasn't available.
Okay. No, because like to have that relationship, to be at that point in your relationship, I wouldn't say it's hard, but like, what did it take to work to get to where you're at, being engaged with Danny?
Danny, when I first met him, he was a mess. It took a lot, honestly. It took a lot of convincing myself that it was okay. I shouldn't have listened to what other people thought anyways, because it's my life. I can do what I want. But I heard everybody hated him, and I was like, I don't want to be hated. But then, things just happened, and we just clicked. And then from there, it was just love.
Okay, that's fair, because we are going to talk about what happened in Inspire. We're going to see what's going, because I watched the wedding. It was a car crash for a wedding. Like, how did you get through that chaos during Inspire Victorious?
It literally was going so good, and then it just turned so fast because of Burt Vixen. That's why we beat her up after. But it was going great at first. I mean, it looked pretty. I always watch it back on video because, like, I watch it back up to a certain point, like right before it goes, like,
yeah.
I always watch it back to that certain point. So I'm like, wow, it would have been so beautiful. But I mean, I was just really annoyed. Like, drugs got ruined, my face got ruined, everything got ruined. Freaking Danny is swantoning people off the top rope. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what's happening? I was so annoyed.
It's like, it was at that point when the cake started flying. At first I was like, what the heck just happened? But throughout that chaos, like throughout that entire segment, and knowing that you're, it's chaotic, but to look back at it, even with the ins and outs of what's going on in the segment, that must have been fun, minus the cake throw.
It was fun. I was panicking in the corner, but I knew it. I don't know why, but there was so much joy on everybody's face, throwing cake and ruining my wedding. It was looking like panicking, but like, wow, everybody's having so much fun. So like, hey, I'm glad everybody had fun, because for me, it was a stressful week leading up to it, but everybody had so much fun, and they loved, like, they were like, thank you for letting me be a part of the first Reston wedding. And it was great. And they were apologizing for messing it up. So you know what? I couldn't be too mad, because I only blamed one person, Burt Vixen, honestly.
Okay, that's fair. To have the Pure Prestige title, and I'm going to name the list. So it's not just indie. So I have Keith Lee, who's already all elite. Sammy Guevara, you know where he's going. MJF, which that one was a surprise, because this is before I moved over and finding out what the Prestige Championship is. Ricky Starks, now Ricky Saints. also in the Indies, T-Ray, Dimitri, Danny, to break that barrier of that championship, to be the first women's pure prestige champion, and handing it from Danny out of all the people. What was that like, breaking that barrier that so many men have been holding that title for that span of time?
Honestly, every man that held it went on to like greatness, like all the names you named.
Okay.
But like it was definitely an honor just from that aspect, not even knowing like, or I knew before that I was the first woman that was, I wasn't the first woman fighting for it, but obviously I was the first one that won it, which is
Yeah.
was like when I like won. I don't know, like it's just like a history making, groundbreaking moment that I didn't think I would be a part of. And then obviously I went off Danny, so like Danny's like the best in Texas, probably one of the best in the country. So I obviously was like going in. Honestly, I was just mad at him because at that point we hadn't revealed our relationship yet, and at that point I was the nice guy that inspired. Everybody loved me. Everybody hated him. So I'm like trying to tell him to keep quiet, like don't talk about our relationship. Not yet. He's like saying how much I love him and all this, and I'm like, what the heck? And then honestly, the funny thing about it is the month before I had defended my Lawless Darkness title and I lost it because of Danny. And yet I lost it because he kissed me, which is why we started the match by me kissing him to, catch him off guard and then super kicked him. And I really thought I was really mad at that point. So I really thought it was over in the first 3 seconds. It wasn't, but it's fine. I did end up winning. And like I said, all those people went on to like superstardom. Like, so it was such an honor to be the first woman. And hopefully I continue that legacy of going on to superstar.
He took it like a champ, though, to hand that. But, well, of course, it's a rocky road. But Danny still took to say, hey, all right, fine, this is going to change hands to you. Like, he must have taken it after a prolonged time, because I'm for sure, like, losing a title is, it's another season of a person. But for Danny to hand that to you, he must have taken that in stride after a certain period of time.
I mean, he did. I thought he was gonna break up with me at that point. He didn't. Yet he knows who he is. He knew he was gonna win more. He wasn't gonna win mine back, but he was gonna win other ones.
I'm waiting for belt collector Danny's. We're all waiting for that moment in his career to pull the belt collector. So I'm like, and of course, like, to find everything that you're doing in the ring. And we're going to move back to Mission, because I think that was my first instance of seeing you. I'm not sure if it's Thriller or another show, but working with Thunder, who's making her rounds at the time to go to the Indies and then to go to NWA, to go to AEW. What was it like working with Thunder as the promoter, not as the wrestler?
Being there, she would just give us a lot of great advice before the shows. Let's go. Because just Mission Pro, I honestly miss it so much because it was like my first year finally getting out on the indies. So like and I always tell people like it felt like a pay-per-view every time. Like it was so like the production was great. Everything was like, it felt like larger than life. The fans treated it so amazing. And then of course Thunder's behind the scenes, which she was like one of the first promoters I worked with who was like actively on TV doing her thing. So she just always gave us great advice just for like character, working the cameras, just small things like that that would help us in the long run, like if we ever got to work TV or anything like that. So working under her was always amazing. And then that's why like whenever I got the match with her on Collision, I was very excited. I really wanted to wrestle her. So I'm glad I got that match also.
Where did the It Girl come from? Like the actual character of like, was it something that you liked in the past that made you say, all right, this will be my character? Like, where did that It Girl persona come from?
Honestly, I really think it's just me, like me times 100. Because for me, the It Girl is like someone who you like, who who always will show up, who's confident, who's, a show off, all those things like that. Just because me, I played all sports. I know who I am as an athlete. So it's just kind of myself, Ashanti, turned up to 100. I feel like that's everybody's character, of course, but like, it's just like, I'm not gonna be like a vampire. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just that girl. Like, I don't know how else to put it.
Because I was thinking about this because a lot of your move sets have, there's so much. The one that stands out to me is when you do the matrix when someone does a kick and you do the backward, basically like you're doing an arch. Like, what other, did you have any sports like even before you started training?
Yeah, so I played basketball, which is my main sport. I actually dropped all my other sports to focus on basketball after a sophomore year of high school. But except cheer, I did basketball and cheer. But and then I did volleyball. I did softball for about 8, 9 years, fourth grade. I can't do the math right now, but I did it for 8 years. And then I did so I don't count soccer because I walked on in college because our school was I went to a small college
Right.
and we just started up our soccer program. So um they just needed walk-ons. And so half the basketball team walked on. I played though. I was a really good defensive player, so I count because we played a whole season. We won our first game. Like no, like we were freaking basketball players. We don't know how to play soccer, but we won and we beat one of the best teams in our conference. Sorry, I have to do a backstory because I'm counting it. And I did a little bit of track, but I didn't. But that was just a thing, when you play all the sports and you just have to track on the side. I didn't like keep in track, but so I played a lot of sports, and they all really helped me, especially in wrestling. Like, just and maybe different fields like explosiveness, footwork from my basketball, like jumping from volleyball or cheer, flexibleness from cheer, of course, and just small things.
Yeah. How did that translate when you started training? Like even just before your debut, how much of the athleticism kind of applied to from the sports that you're doing at the time?
So much. Like we would just be doing drills and I would do like a leapfrog and then my leapfrog is like toe touch. So they're like, oh, she was a cheerleader. Like small things like that. So it definitely helped. And honestly, you can definitely recognize like people who did sports and are athletes separated from other people, not because like other people are like less athletic, because wrestling weirdly brings out more athleticism in people for some reason. Like it's just like I would do things that I was like, okay, I didn't think I could do that just because just wrestling is wrestling. In that aspect of like I already had this athletic background, so like anything I was very fast learning a lot of the stuff just because of all the last former stuff I did. I was a coach, so things like that.
With the trainers that you have, what was their advice before you even step on a debut? What was the advice that they give you leading up to your debut?
Just like don't go out there being nervous. I trained for like a year and a few months before I even debuted. Like they were basically saying that we wouldn't put you out there if we didn't think you were ready. So like you're ready. Don't be nervous. Don't be shy. Show what you can do. Just small things like that. Because I mean, stepping in this ring for the first time is like really like scary, and it definitely putting on a match when you're very new. You're facing someone who's probably been wrestling for a little while. Like you can, you probably would believe in yourself. You probably are like, I don't have this, but it was just a lot of like, we trust in you. We're confident in you because you've shown that like you're ready for this. So know you're ready and just be ready out there.
How did that build over time? And then with your debut, did you think that it's still a work in progress, or you think, okay, I think I'm confident enough to keep going?
It definitely built so much over time. Like I remember being like so scared. And honestly, there's up until about like a few months ago, it was a lot of like still nervousness, but it's not nervousness like, oh, I'm nervous, I gotta go out there and wrestle. More so like nervousness, like, I don't know, I'm living my dream still, and this is like crazy nervousness. Like, funny thing, all the girls, probably boys too, like every time before we got a match, we always have to pee, but we don't really have to pee. It's just small things like that. Like, so, but I mean, I can definitely tell the difference from when I first went out there. I feel like basic, I didn't know what I was doing the first time I went out there. But like, it's definitely, even though I did, but like, it's definitely like, wow, you really were like not like now compared to then. It's a complete 180. It's a whole different Maya. Even though I was still calling myself the it girl, my first appearance. Honestly, I don't think I was because it was a thing where I felt like I had to grow into that. Like I was like, I want to call myself this because I want everybody to know this, but I didn't call myself that because I wanted to grow into that, which is basically what I did.
Okay, because like when of course like it takes time to build over that, and we're gonna move a bit more further, a bit more recently. I think that was the first time I've seen you in AEW was in Collision. That was in Garland. Yeah, I was in Garland, and you faced Athena. Now, Athena's been a fixture in wrestling for quite some time. What was that like just seeing the big leagues? Even if it's just a match even though it's a match that, granted it's short, but at the same time, to see the big leagues, what was that like looking into that green pastures in AEW?
First time being backstage at AEW was like, it was like seeing everybody. First of all, it was for the pay-per-view. So like, it was everybody, all the top guys were there for Ring of Honor, definitely for Dishonor.
Yeah.
And then I went to, was it 2 days of it? I don't remember. I just know I went 2 days in a row.
I think the one that I went to, I have to find it. I think that was close to Christmas. I have pictures of it. So I'll take a picture of that. Cause, I think even just being in the ring, in that big of a stage, that must have been, I would say it's nerve-wracking, but rather, I can't believe I'm doing it.
Right. Definitely a lot of that. And definitely like, I even posted it on my story because people were posting me in the ring. They're like, oh my God, Maya. And I was like, live? Like, I couldn't even believe I got that match, especially with Athena of all people, who, is the top girl now, but was the top girl at that time as a champion. And, she was my mentor, or she started becoming my mentor, because at that point I had been training with her for about 5 months or so. So it was just an honor to get that match, because it was the day after. Oh, it was the day after the pay-per-view just for Dishonor. She faced Billy Starks.
Yeah.
So she wasn't supposed to be there. She was supposed to be taking a day off. She came in just for the sake of like, if there's a match and like we get to wrestle, she wanted to like me to be the one, or her to be the one that I wrestled if there was a match available. So like, she did that for me, and I will forever be grateful for her for that, because it definitely skyrocketed a lot of things of where I am now.
It's like, you have your peers, which is nice, because like when they called you, I think it was right by the commentator desk, all of your peers stood up. I think one of them, I remember, because I've seen like Morgan Mercy and some Mission Pro shows. Everyone just stood up. I'm like, okay. Did you expect like the crowd from, especially your peers? That must have been, or were you just like blocked out, tunnel vision? I have to get through this match.
The funny thing is, I was so nervous that at first I was blocked out. And then when I went out there, I heard everybody cheering, and I looked and I seen Morgan. I seen another friend of mine, Joe. I seen Shay Carmichael over here. And those were my MPX people. Those are people who are also trained by Athena. And then I saw my DFW All Pro people, Lugatti, OBJ, like all those people. So like, I was blocked, and I was like, just focus. I was like, we got this. Like, don't be nervous. It's Athena, but don't be nervous. And then I went out there and I heard everybody screaming, and then like the nerves just like melted away. And I was like,
oh, that's good.
Everybody was there like to cheer for me. And I don't know why I didn't think they would be, but of course they were. So I was like, it all went away, and I was just like, I was ready then.
They backed you up too, because I think when both sides, I think it's like one's in commentating, one's by hard cam. Most of them stood up. I was like, okay, I see like everyone from the DFW scene here stood up and cheered you on. I was like, that must have been like, okay, I think they gave you enough of a boost to get through the match at the time. And to switch over, because MPX happened a couple of weeks ago, you faced Athena again, and this is from let me find the date. That was from late May, early June, around that time. What's the difference with MPX from something that's big in AEW to something that is like the indie scene with MPX? What was it like facing Athena in MPX?
So definitely the major difference, which my coach noticed the first time, whenever I look back, I was like, yeah, that's true. He says like, whenever in Ring of Honor, when I faced her, I was looking across the ring as more so like, this is like a mentor, someone I grew up watching. So like, I think he was like, you went in facing her like you were facing a mentor, like too much respect type thing. And then like now, like we're not like peers or anything, because she's Athena, she's Athena, and I'm like, still trying to get to where she is type stuff, but more so like as competitor to competitor. Because when he said that, I was like, it clicked. I was like, that's very true. Like, I was looking at her with too much respect instead of going in like competitive, like I'm about to beat her, da da da.
Yeah.
So at MPX, like at this point, it's been a year and a half. I mean, not like that I got a big head or anything, but like I know I could compete with her. You know what I mean? So like, even if it's not 250-50, like I know like I can hold my own in the ring with her. So it was more so like competition, not just like I respect you too much thing. She wouldn't want that anyway. She wouldn't want me to go in and give my all, which is exactly or what I did.
And she's in your ring in MPX too, because this is your turf as much as Athena is at the time, whether it's in Collision or Ring of Honor, that's her turf. How did that perspective change to saying that, okay, I'm in her ring, she's in mine?
Yeah, definitely. That's probably like I'm saying the main difference. Like now it's my house, so it's a completely different thing. Like we're not on TV. We had obviously recorded, but like now it's just like now it's more competition, competitive.
Yeah.
This is my house. This is my ring for sure.
And it switches too, because like oftentimes, and I'm noticing this when I'm going through the indies, like you sense like who's the person in the ring for that match, for that particular moment. After the match, like did she still give you feedback and advice from Athena, or you're like, okay, I'm done. This is my night.
No, she definitely gave me a feedback. Like, and I'm definitely welcome it just because who she is, and she beat me, so of course I'm gonna listen to the feedback. But
Yeah.
they both definitely gave me a lot more feedback, stuff I needed just to like get to the next level, which I'm trying to get to.
And like, because I was gonna ask too, like, and you've traveled all over Texas, and I'm kind of curious, wrestling from Dallas and then going over to Austin, to Houston, to San Antonio. What is it that you sense with each city that you worked in wrestling shows over the span of your career?
Honestly, like the difference between the cities is like crazy because like Austin, you know how Austin is.
Ew.
Like they're the liveliest. They're all like they are like just hard wrestling fans. Like they love it. I mean, like basically all of them are, but like Austin is definitely the one where it's like more young people. It's more conservative or
Yeah.
liberal. Sorry, not conservative. And it's like honestly, it's just like one of the best crowds to be in front of. But I want to wrestle in San Antonio so much more because it's like they know me. They're like, "Oh, Maya, okay." Like I need to wrestle there more because I really love that crowd. Also, like going to Hybrid, RCW, or United. There, it's very like a homey feeling. Like they like treat the wrestlers like that's their home. Like
Right.
they all come together at the yard, which I miss the yard, but like they would all come together. I forgot what every Friday, not every Friday, one Friday a month. It was like
Yeah.
for them, and it's like a homey feeling. So they definitely like know their people and they love their people. So I just wanted to get that more like reps there, so like they can know who I am because they do, of course.
Yeah.
It's like I just want to be one of those like people who they're used to, and I will be whenever I win the United Championship because I am the number one contender. But I also love this like new crowd. Corpus Christi is another one that are like they're very good wrestling crowd and they understand like wrestling. And so I mean Dallas crowds, of course. I'm like the freaking trying to think of a big name. They love me here because it's my home.
Oh yeah. It's your home turf. I mean, that's what it is. Because like, because I was thinking this too, and I should have thought of this. Wrestling in reality and seeing a Hall of Famer, two-time Hall of Famer, five-time World Heavyweight Champion like Booker T. And I'll ask this like with Thunder, what was it like seeing Booker as the promoter in reality?
He's like he's I like words can even describe. He does so much for us. He is amazing there. He's Booker T. So the first time I met him, I'm like very scared. I'm so scared. And the first time I met him, it was like I was doing a battle royal and there's like gonna be 1,500 people there. It was so full. And I'm walking in with my little luggage. It's like one of my first indie bookings before after I graduated DFW. And I just like scared, like, oh, whenever I talk to Booker, like you gotta like be professional, da, da, da. And like I'm not expecting to be right there sitting on a chair as soon as I walk in talking to somebody. And I'm like, and I see him, I'm like, and I pause. I'm like, "Shh." And I'm like,
Not mark out, don't mark out, don't mark out.
right. And I walk up slowly and he just looks at me. He goes, "Hey, what's up?" He was like, "You're in the basement." He's excited. So I was like, oh my gosh. First of all, he knew who I was. And two,
Oh, that's good.
I was just like scared. And he just completely so fast was like melted all that scaredness away. And it was like home immediately. But just he's always there. He always helps with our matches. Like he also gives us so much advice also, especially because he's directly connected with NXT. He knows what that next level wants, what they like to see, what they love. So I mean I love working with him. It's definitely helped me get to the next level also.
To see like other Hall of Famers, I'm sure it's not just Booker. Like, what was the most fascinating Hall of Famer that you've ever encountered in reality?
Um, honestly, oh, that's a good question. They're always there. It's all the time. Um, I was excited to see probably is the Boogeyman in the Hall of Fame? He is, right?
Well, he's a legend. He's a legend. So
Like
I'm not sure if he's Hall of Fame. So
he should.
legend would be a better term. So it's not just Hall of Famers, but like any WWE legend
Right.
or Hall of Famer that you've interacted.
Man. I just remember being so scared of him, like more scared of him than the Undertaker. So definitely the
What?
Boogeyman. He was scary.
Really?
Yes, the Boogeyman, and then I can't even think. I know DDP was backstage one time, and just people like that. It's always the coolest people. And seeing who he's still friends with is so cool.
To see at least the legends and the Hall of Famers that you've encountered. I'm gonna ask this too, like when you see those types of wrestlers who've had their career for that span of time, do you think that you're in the right direction and where you're going in your wrestling career?
Yes, it's always so cool to see. It's like I now know I'm hanging around the right places. All these legends are here. Like this is where I need to stay. Keep learning from them. Keep asking them questions. I'm annoying them if I have to, just to get advice, just to see what I need to work on, continue to do to get to that next level. But it's definitely an indication of like I'm in the right place whenever I see like legends there, especially legends you don't see out much. You're like, oh shoot, like what the heck? What are you doing here?
I think there was one time, I think there was a reality show one time, and I think that was from last year. And then here comes Mark Henry. Mark Henry? What the? It's just like, okay, all right, I guess everyone's in the house.
Devon
And
Flash,
yeah,
it's always, and then obviously Charmel's always there. It's always so crazy all the people who are there.
I tend to be like, yeah, good to see you. Sure, I see you later. Go over there, go on my seat. So it's like, there's like, you sense of like where reality is heading and what they're doing things, and now we have NXT stars now. Like, where did this come from? You know,
Crazy.
throughout your career, what do you think is your favorite match that you've worked with of all time?
There's so many, but like just because of three factors I'm going to answer this because the fact that I won, because of the history that I made, and because of who I was with is why I'm saying this match. Because like obviously I could say the Athena match or the Thunder Collision match or any other match, but the match I had with Danny at Inspire is definitely like my most well rounded. I won all the other things like. And it's a match that I recommend everybody watch. Like when it happened, I put the link everywhere. I was like, guys, please watch this. Like this is my favorite match ever. I love this match so much. I just watched it yesterday, not even meaning to. I was just looking at stuff and then I seen it. I was like, watch the whole thing. Wait, like was late to something that I was supposed to get to. But it's all definitely a match that I'm like, I have to watch it every time I pass it.
That's for the pure prestige. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Funny because he wrestled 3 times back to back to back months, and all three of them I love them so much. Like wrestling Danny's the best. He's definitely my favorite opponent. But that first match, for the Inspire title, definitely was my favorite.
Because like, what makes it such a unique match, and just like from your perspective and how you're working things with Danny, what makes that your favorite match of all time?
Like we were talking about, it's the Austin crowd. Like they were there for me the
That
whole time. Everything was like they were pushing me. Like literally, I've never felt like I've been pushed to the finish line because Danny was giving me his all. He didn't care. He like I understand. I don't expect him to give anything less, but like it's like a title match, so he was giving me his all, and I literally had to be pushed to the finish line, and they definitely helped with that. So it was a thing like that, and then like just because me and Danny know each other so well, he knows what I do, I know what he does. Like I kind of knew what was coming sometimes, and it was just like so like beautiful, a beautiful match to watch. So well, like this works so well together.
what was it like facing him 2 times though? Two
Three,
more times.
yeah,
2 more times.
like I was like my coach. So I think the last one we did, my coach was like he was like the first two went so well, let's just do it again. I was like, really? Like
I think why?
like I'm like this, but like I knew it was gonna be fun, so I was like, whatever. But like I was like, we just face each other back to back. Like, I'm like, okay, whatever he said. And it was another fun match. So like I knew it was gonna be what is that? I think the final score was like me 2, him 1.
I think so. The fight, cage match is weird when it does that.
Yeah. So yeah, he's gonna hate that I said that. But
that better be like one more over. You don't want a tiebreaker in the middle of your career when that happens.
great title match from Inspire after that. Like I think he wants a tiebreaker, but
it's gonna happen soon. It's gonna come in quick. But yeah, I mean, like we're halfway through the year, and what are some milestones and goals that you would like to have in the year in your wrestling career?
honestly, I want to be in my belt collector era. I want to win some outside of Texas titles. Obviously my major number one goal is to go to Japan or the UK to wrestle. Definitely something that I like praying for every day. I definitely want to do that. Obviously get signed, that's everyone's main goal, so I'm gonna get that. But Japan, winning titles out all over the world, wherever I can go. Um, like just having more dream matches like Masha Samovich. I'm just still waiting for that match, just putting that out there. Billy Starks, just waiting. Just gonna put that out there. But this things like that. I just want to keep growing until like it's time for me to sign a contract and just keep wrestling all over the world.
There was an announcement with Spark, and I've learned this promotion from like a couple. I think Waldo from United to One. Shout out Waldo about Spark. And when you had the announcement too, saying like, all right, you're going to be in the show in Baytown in June. What was that like? Even being announced in the Joshi Pro Wrestling promotion.
I was very excited that it finally come to Texas because, I obviously, that's like it's gonna be my third time working there because I won the tryout with them last week in Philly for Mania. That helped me face Mayu Iwatani and team up with Konami. So I was just very excited that they're finally coming to Texas. Like it was Philly and then I worked with them in Vegas. So now it's Texas and just very excited. Hopefully I get a good match. I mean, every match is going to be like amazing just because who they have coming in. But like,
To set the bar high.
I'm so freaking excited. I don't even know. But I'm just now like, who am I gonna wrestle? Like all the like I saw. I really hope Hazuki because I love Hazuki. She had one of my favorite matches this year with Mercedes Monet at Resurgence. So I I just want to know who I'm facing now.
Do you think it's like that preview of being in the big leagues to be in Spark?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Like definitely. They always have the best talent from Joshi to even all over the American Indies. They always have the best talent.
Yeah. Is Stardom kind of like in your radar too? When you have plans to go to Japan to be in Stardom?
Yes, on Stardom is definitely my number one. Whenever I started watching Japanese wrestling, it was definitely the number one thing. Um, I always wanted to go to Stardom. But there's like obviously there's TJPW, there's Marigold, there's Sendai Girls, there's Marvelous, there's so many things. And so honestly, it's just at this point, wherever. Because
What? It just throw a dart. It's right there.
best I'm gonna learn. It's just I any of them, honestly.
What was the one match that you saw from a lot of the Joshi promotions? What was the one match that you say, I want to take Joshi a shot in my career?
Um definitely Manami Toyota. Her, Audrey Kong, like people like that. I don't know if there's no specific match. It was definitely like I definitely did watch one that I was like, oh shoot, now I gotta watch more. I just can't remember which one that is. I just know it was Manami Toyota because I definitely rate her very high on my all-time list, and she was insane. All the stuff she did, that athleticism was off the charts, like crazy. So definitely something with her. And then I just went down like a rabbit hole, and there was like a lot of All Japan, and like there's this website that has like full pay-per-views like for 3 hours, and like I would go and watch all of those. And this is probably like when I first started, which I should know you watching this when I first start. I'm gonna be like stiffing these girls, but I wasn't, of course. But definitely something with Manami Toyota. And from there, like, and then I went to recent, and it was like I saw Stardom, which is very hard to find, but I did see like Mayu Otani, Io at that time before she was a WWE.
Yep.
And then I found Asuka after she got signed because she wasn't in Stardom, but I watched old stuff and she was insane, especially her as Connor. Loved her. And just the whole style and just the hard hitting and just like the cool stuff. They always have the coolest things, coolest pins, coolest reversals, coolest everything. And just like the hard hitting style. I love it so much. And of course, Stardom or Japan, any Japan wrestling is just so storytelling wise, and like it's just like I don't even know if you watched this past, I don't know what pay-per-view it was, but her what's her name? Oh my god, Tam Nakano, when she retired, and like her like on the stage and like the stuff was falling, and then she was like, oh, I just
It's a send off. That's what it is.
felt like that made me fall in love with it, and they had that all the time. So like it was just a mixture of things that made me love it so much.
I'm curious too, because I was thinking about because Texas wrestling, strong style in particular, it's hard hitting. Is it if you do have that? I mean, you have the opportunity with Spark. Is your style Texas wrestling? Is that a easy transition to go into like a Joshi, where it's mostly athletic, but you can still see the hits? Like in your training and what you've done in your career, is it easy to transition into like a Spark, or if you do go to like a Stardom? Will those styles complement each other when you're wrestling in the ring in Japan?
It's definitely a very different style. It's definitely something you are gonna have to like adapt to and learn. So it definitely can help because a lot of the girls from Texas did rest. Some has wrestled in Japan, so they definitely like transitioned that style over, and I kind of took from them as well as other Joshis I've wrestled in the United States. So it's definitely something I'll have to like adapt to. But I think I already have just because I've wrestled so many Joshi girls per my request because I wanted to, of course. It's so like I'm already like ready. But it's definitely a way different style. And it's like, we just talked about this in a seminar, actually. It's like something to where you're going to have to adapt to that. Like, you can't go to like Mexico or like Japan and they like, okay, do this. And they're like, and you're like, well, why don't we do the American style? Like, you can't. Like,
Yeah, you gotta adapt with the change.
know what they're doing. Yeah, definitely.
Almost, I was about to ask that too. Miyu Yamashita. I think she's kind of similar in terms of like, because she's a hard striker. How did you guys adapt with her strikes? And you're doing a lot of the technical stuff. How did you guys really mend that match together with such really different styles of wrestling?
Just talking wrestling, honestly, it was like, it was very easy, just the language barrier, it's gonna be like, but it's just like wrestling. It's just like, okay, this, and then you're like, oh, like it's so easy. It's way easier than people think. It's definitely not easy, but like if you just know wrestling, then it'll be like nothing. But she definitely does kick hard,
Cool.
very hard, like in the head. And I definitely had to take like a week off after that. Not because I was fearing again, but like, yeah, I'm just gonna chill out for this for a second. But was she my first? No, she was my second. But like I just the match of Mayu Utani I had before that. But like she
Yeah. Oh.
Mayu was very like athletic. So like she hits hard, but she's not like, kicking you in the head.
Yamashita was like,
Yeah, so me, I definitely had to get ready for that. Like all these hard kicks to the back and like the chest. I was like, oof, okay. That's not what I got with Mayu. I had to definitely adapt real fast.
it's like, was curious because like, I know wrestling's like a universal language too, but was there ever a moment of getting lost in translation, or it's just the moves that really help you work with Yamashita or any of the Joshi wrestlers that you're facing?
The first few, nothing got lost in translation. Like you said, it was just the universal wrestling being a universal language. So not really. When I did work a Stardom show, Mania weekend, it was kind of a little, a little lost in translation. Something might have, but other than that, no. It's usually very, very like simple, and they do talk like a little English, so it's not like too.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
But like, yeah, some one thing may have been lost in translation from like the 8 Joshi matches I've had. So nothing.
That's how you're well versed in Japanese. You're like, yeah, I know what to do.
I I literally am trying to learn Japanese so bad. Like whenever I go, I want to like at least know a little bit. Like I don't even know where I'm going. I don't know what's happening yet. Don't ask. But like I've been trying to like learn a little bit as I go. For sure.
At least like on a conversational level. Like it's not just how we're talking. This is kind of like at a certain level of English. Like at least in Japanese, you have a conversational
Yeah.
feel with each other. Because as long as you can talk to them and they understand what you're saying, that's probably the main goal.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely like something that I definitely want to do when I go there.
Yeah. Right. This is fun. But to end our conversation, and if you were in the same room as a adolescent version of you, and you're in the same room with her, what would you like to talk to her about?
To let her know, like I wouldn't change anything. I would just tell myself just stay who I am, stay the course, because just being me and who I am outside of the ring has gotten me a lot of opportunities, has made me a lot of friends, that's gotten me a lot of like a lot of things. And this business is all about networking and who you know,
Right.
honestly, and just things like that. So I would just tell myself not to change, not to ever change for anybody, which has gotten me this far, honestly. So tell myself to keep working hard, stay in the gym, keep eating right, keep doing your thing. Because it's gonna pay off eventually.
How much of a support system that you've had in your career? Because I always ask this because wrestling is not an easy profession. It always goes up and down. It never stays steady. But how much of a support system that you've had in your career that really kept you going in your wrestling career?
Honestly, for me, I do have a circle of, I wouldn't say a small circle. Like a lot of people support me, especially like online, which is crazy. I don't know why. Like all these people support me online, but like real life, I definitely have like a small circle of a support system that definitely helps me get through. I definitely go to them for everything, and of course, it includes people like Athena. So it's a very good support system. But I have my DFW family and just people who I can lean on. So it definitely helps a lot whenever I'm going through something. Whenever I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing right now, and they definitely like keep me straight, narrow path and just tell me to keep going. So I have a good support system.
How much did it build over time, or you already have like that? I wouldn't say, let's just say gathering, a small gathering of your support system. Like, did it take time to really build to you can lean on to someone if there is something that's going on in your life?
It did from where it is now. It took a little bit to get to because people who I wouldn't even think would be my support system, people who I met outside of like Texas or people who I go to. So like I have a few who are like from here and like who helped me like start like my coach Lugatti and all that. But like it's people who I've met outside who I've also like been leaning on for support. So like it definitely has grown and been going up since I've gotten out more and met more people and met people who are like real. And I'm like, felt like you're somebody who I need in my corner and things like that.
And like with Danny Orion, of course, how did that circle get bigger now that you're engaged and you have a marriage? How did that circle change with Danny Orion? Of course, how did it build that small gathering of support to have Danny in that system for you?
Danny knows a lot of people. So like a lot of people love Danny outside, outside of the ring because the fans hate him. But people love him in the back because he is like a good person. Obviously, I wouldn't be talking to him if he wasn't a good person. But he definitely like has people who are behind him and who kind of adopted me in there by default. And so I'm really grateful for that. And he's definitely like helped me go to places that I was probably scared of getting to before. And like, hey, God, this is Maya. Like, this is her. Love her. Like I got
Oh, you like this?
love her like I love her, please. And he's definitely like, and I definitely did adopt some of his support. And of course him, of course, but like people who he knows also. Like Ollie and like CJC and like
Yeah,
Kyle and Vert and like people like that. Definitely are people who I can lean on.
yeah, and it keeps you going to have
For sure.
that support system for you. So okay, this is great. No, and I've seen you so many times, whether it's in Austin or I see you in reality. Like you've always been climbing and climbing and going up the ranks in the Texas wrestling scene. And honestly, like this was great to talk to you more instead of saying in the production or in the business like see you later, but to understand how you do things in your career, and it only goes up. I mean, hopefully that's the main end goal in your career is to go up for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the goal.
Okay, so I have nothing left to give. You have the floor, and where can we find you?
Okay, so my you can find me on Facebook. It's just Maya World. My Instagram is at It's Maya World, and my Twitter is also It's Maya World, but the I is an L. So LTS Maya World. Um, and then of course you can find my YouTube. I post matches on there. I started posting vlogs and stuff. So definitely follow all those.
Is there anything upcoming on your side?
Besides Spark, I'm going to Epic Pro. I'll be facing Kid Bandit. I'm very excited about that. In regards to reality of wrestling, I was one of the first draft picks for Platinums because they're doing a draft. So I'm very excited about that. I'll be on Platinum, period. And then, oh gosh, I can't think. I'll be back on the West Coast alive coming up the rest of this year. I'm trying to just do more outside of Texas. love Texas so much, but like just more first. So
You gotta spread out your wings. You gotta spread out your wings.
and I'll just be posting everything that I always post everything I have on my Instagram and Facebook. So Instagram and Twitter. So definitely just stay tuned to that.
So, for those who are watching or listening here on YouTube, Spotify, and on iHeartRadio, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will be on to the next one.